Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast, everyone. We're going to be talking B2Gold Corporation today.
Okay.
Ticker symbol BTG.
Yeah.
For those of you who like to, kind of look for these little interesting things that pop up in the market.
Interesting movements.
Yeah. Gold mining company operates in Mali, Namibia, Philippines.
Right.
And recently something interesting happened with their stock.
Yeah, I was watching this one too. There's this weird thing going on.
Yeah.
Where they announce a loss for Q4 2024.
Okay.
And then on the same day the stock goes up 7%.
Which typically doesn't happen.
No, it's
Right. You see that kind of a jump, you think, good news.
For sure. Yeah.
So what were people on X excited about?
It seems like the market was looking more at their 2025 production forecast.
Okay.
And that was looking really strong.
Yeah.
Despite the Q4 loss.
But their loss was primarily due to, what was it?
Yeah, it was primarily from their Fekola mine in Mali.
Okay.
They just had some setbacks there.
Okay, so it's...
Nothing too serious, it seems.
So what numbers are we talking here that are giving investors hope?
So they're projecting a pretty big production increase for 2025.
Yeah.
They're aiming for like 970,000 to 1,075,000 ounces of gold.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's quite a bit.
It is, and a lot of that is because they're expecting this higher grade ore from their Fekola Phase 7 expansion.
Oh, okay.
And also the Goose Project in Canada.
The Goose Project.
Yeah, should actually start producing gold like Q2 2025.
Okay.
So things are looking up for them.
So even with this little hiccup,
Yeah.
this recent stumble,
Yeah.
they're set to come back pretty strong.
Yeah, I think so.
And I'm guessing that cash pile of $337 million helps.
Yeah.
And $660 million annual cash flow.
Helps a lot. That's a really strong indicator of financial stability.
Yeah.
And when you combine that with the growth projections, it's no wonder the market reacted positively.
Okay.
And this positive sentiment
Go ahead.
isn't just limited to B2Gold.
Right, because other gold miners have been climbing as well.
Exactly.
Alamos Gold, that's ticker symbol AGI.
Yeah.
Goldfields,
Yeah.
GFI.
Yep.
And New Gold, NGD.
Right.
All saw gains after their recent earnings reports as well. So is this just a coincidence or is there something bigger at play here?
I think it's more likely a sign of a broader trend
Okay.
in the gold mining sector.
Okay.
It seems like investors are starting to gain confidence again in gold mining.
Okay.
And I think it's due to a few different factors.
Okay.
Stable gold prices is a potential shift away from this sell-on news behavior.
Okay.
And also, I think there's a renewed focus on long-term growth potential.
Okay. So they're not just thinking short-term gains.
Not as much. No, it seems like they're thinking more long-term.
Long-term.
Which is a good sign.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So if B2Gold's already doing this well, even with, this recent loss, can you imagine what their potential is if they hit these production targets?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Especially since their price-to-earnings ratio has been historically lower than some of the bigger players out there like Barrick Gold.
Right.
What makes them so appealing to value investors?
Well, that lower price-to-earnings ratio is definitely a key factor.
Yeah.
It's not due to poor performance. It's
Yeah.
more a combination of things
Okay.
that make B2Gold attractive from a value perspective.
So what are some of those things?
Well, they have a very consistent track record of operational efficiency,
Okay.
which is often overlooked by the market, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And then they also have a strong focus on exploration and development,
Okay.
particularly in politically stable regions like Canada,
Okay.
which adds a layer of security and long-term growth potential that just isn't reflected in the current price.
I see.
So for value-minded people,
Yeah.
it's kind of a bit of a hidden gem, I think.
Okay. So for value-minded folks, it's a good deal. But what about for investors who are looking for steady income?
Right.
What's in it for them?
Well, B2Gold also has a very impressive 6.43% dividend yield.
Right.
And that consistent payout is really attractive to income-focused investors,
Yeah.
especially in a market where reliable yields can be a little hard to find.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's another thing that's making them attractive.
So let's shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
And talk about B2Gold's recent price movements.
Sure.
It's been quite a ride.
It has.
They hit a 52-week low of $2.33 back in January.
Yeah.
And then by February 22nd, they'd climbed all the way to 2.82.
Wow.
And they even crossed the 200-day simple moving average.
Ah.
What do all these technical indicators tell us?
Well, that upward trend
Yeah.
and the fact that they crossed the 200-day moving average
Yeah.
definitely suggests like a short-term bullish momentum.
Okay.
Other indicators like the RSI and the MACD are also looking positive.
Yeah.
So there's definitely some upside potential there.
Okay.
However, there are also some potential resistance levels, particularly between like 2.96 and 3.02 based on past performance.
Oh, okay.
So those are levels to kind of watch out for.
So it sounds like there are opportunities with B2Gold, both short-term and long-term.
Yeah, I think so.
So what's the bottom line for our listeners?
Well, I think what makes B2Gold so compelling is that it has that potential for both short-term and long-term gains.
Okay.
So whether you're looking for momentum or a solid value investment with a great dividend, B2Gold is definitely a company worth considering.
Okay.
But remember, always do your own research. Make sure any investment aligns with your goals and your risk tolerance.
Excellent advice. Now, I know we've only scratched the surface here.
We have,
Yeah.
There's a lot more to unpack here.
There is, you mentioned geopolitical risks earlier.
Oh, right. Yeah.
How does that factor into B2Gold's outlook?
Yeah.
Especially with their Fekola mine in Mali.
That's a great point. Geopolitical risks are always a concern, especially in the mining industry.
For sure. Could these risks derail B2Gold's progress, do you think?
Well, it's definitely something to keep in mind. But what's interesting about B2Gold is that they seem to be pretty good at navigating these challenges.
Okay.
They managed to resolve those issues in Mali fairly quickly,
Right.
which allowed them to proceed with further investments in Fekola.
Okay.
And that's actually in contrast to some of their competitors like Barrick Gold, who kind of experienced some delays in the same region.
Interesting. So they're not just reacting to problems, they're being proactive about it.
Yeah, exactly. They're anticipating and managing these risks really well. And that's really reassuring for investors.
Yeah.
Especially those who might be hesitant about investing in regions with, political uncertainty.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that operational stability is a key strength for them.
Yeah.
In fact, some analysts over at Seeking Alpha have actually highlighted this. They're projecting a 27% production growth for B2Gold by 2025. And they cite their effective risk management as a major factor.
27%. That's huge.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
It is. But let's be realistic for a second.
Yeah.
The market has been a bit volatile lately.
It has.
Especially, with tech stocks taking a hit.
Mm-hmm.
Nasdaq's down.
Right.
NVIDIA's earnings weren't as strong as expected.
Yeah, I saw that.
So does this broader market uncertainty impact B2Gold's prospects at all, do you think?
Well, that's a valid concern. The recent tech slump has definitely made investors a bit jittery.
Yeah.
But it seems like gold miners like B2Gold are kind of weathering the storm pretty well.
Okay.
In fact, they're almost moving in the opposite direction.
Okay.
Gaining ground while tech stocks falter.
It's like that classic seesaw effect, right?
Exactly.
When one sector goes down, another goes up. So is this a sign that investors are maybe turning to gold as a safe haven?
Could be.
Amidst all this tech turmoil?
It's very likely. Gold has always been seen as a safe haven asset. And when economic anxieties rise, investors tend to flock to its stability.
Yeah.
So this flight to safety could definitely benefit B2Gold.
Okay.
Especially with their operational consistency and their attractive dividend yield.
Okay, so we've talked about market conditions favoring gold.
Right.
B2Gold's impressive operational performance. And their appeal to both value and income investors.
Right.
But let's get practical.
Sure.
What are some ways that our listeners could actually, capitalize on B2Gold's story?
Oh, that's a great question. There are a few scenarios I think are worth exploring.
Okay.
First, there's the short-term momentum play.
Okay.
Given that recent surge after their earnings release.
Right.
And just the overall strength in the gold sector.
Yeah.
B2Gold definitely has the potential to climb even higher, especially if gold prices break out of their current range.
Oh, okay.
So, savvy investors could kind of ride this momentum wave for some potential gains.
Okay. What kind of gains are we talking?
I've seen some projections in the 10 to 15% range.
Wow.
If this positive sentiment continues.
Okay, so that's appealing, I guess, to people who, maybe have a higher risk tolerance.
Yeah.
And,
a little bit more short-term focus.
Yeah, a knack for timing the market.
Exactly.
What about a longer-term approach, though?
Right. So for the long-term investors,
Yeah.
B2Gold's operational consistency and that reliable dividend,
Right.
they offer stability
Okay.
and potentially a hedge against any turbulence in other sectors,
Oh,
that tech wobble we talked about.
Yeah.
So if these economic concerns kind of linger,
Yeah.
gold's safe haven appeal could really benefit B2Gold over time.
I see. Okay. So those are two solid strategies, I think.
Yeah.
Now let's get a little creative.
Okay.
Any outside-the-box ideas for playing the B2Gold story?
Well, for those looking for a more sophisticated approach,
Yeah.
a pair trade could be interesting.
A pair trade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So considering the Nasdaq's recent decline, you could consider a long position in B2Gold,
Okay.
betting on its continued rise, paired with a short position on a tech ETF like QQQ,
Oh, okay.
essentially betting on the tech sector's decline.
So it's a classic hedge, right?
Exactly.
Well, if the overall market dips,
Right.
gains from B2Gold could offset losses in tech.
Exactly. It's about kind of leveraging the
Yeah.
relative strength of one sector against the weakness of another.
Very interesting.
But of course, remember, every investment carries risk.
Of course. Of course. So what are some of the risks associated with investing in B2Gold?
Right. Well, I think the most significant risk is a potential drop in gold prices.
Okay.
If the economy rebounds,
Yeah.
fears of a slowdown fade,
Right.
gold could lose its appeal.
Yeah.
And that would put downward pressure on B2Gold's stock price.
Okay.
Gold prices are influenced by a lot of different factors,
Yeah.
and they can be quite volatile.
Absolutely. So investors need to keep a close eye on, the bigger economic picture
Right.
and how that might affect gold.
For sure.
What other risks should they consider?
Well, it's also important to remember the inherent risks of B2Gold's operations.
Right.
They have mines in various regions, each with its own set of challenges.
Okay.
Political instability,
Right.
regulatory changes, even natural disasters.
Right.
Any of those things could disrupt production
Yeah.
and impact the company's financials.
Right. So it's a good reminder that no investment is completely risk-free.
Exactly.
Due diligence is essential.
Absolutely. Thorough research and staying informed are crucial.
Okay, now we've covered a lot of ground here,
We have.
but there's one more aspect of B2Gold that's kind of caught my eye.
Okay.
There's been some chatter on X
Uh-huh.
about potential catalysts
Right.
that could boost their stock price even further.
Oh, yeah.
Any truth to these rumors?
Well, it's always wise to approach rumors with caution.
Of course, yeah.
But there have been some whispers of a rare insider buy, which could signal that those in the know are pretty bullish on B2Gold.
Interesting.
Additionally, there's been some speculation about potential asset sales.
Oh, okay.
Such as their Nunavut mine to Agnico Eagle mines.
Okay.
So, those are things to keep an eye on.
So an insider buy and possible asset sales.
Yeah.
It seems like there's a lot going on behind the scenes with B2Gold.
There is definitely a sense of anticipation, I think,
Yeah.
surrounding the company.
And speaking of anticipation,
Okay.
let's address the elephant in the room.
Right.
Earlier this year, Bank of America downgraded B2Gold to underperform.
Yeah. That was a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty bearish move.
It is. How do we reconcile that with all the positive things we've been talking about?
Well, Bank of America's downgrade back in January definitely created some headwinds for the company.
Yeah.
But as we've seen, market sentiment can shift pretty quickly.
Yeah, and shift it
Yeah,
did.
it did.
B2Gold has rebounded significantly,
Yeah.
even exceeding analyst expectations in some cases.
It's true. It just goes to show that
Yeah.
while analyst ratings can provide some insights, they're just one piece of the puzzle.
Right, exactly. So it's important to look at the whole picture.
Absolutely. Consider all the factors.
All the factors we've talked about today
Yep. Ooh,
before making any investment decision.
for sure.
Well said. So we've really painted, I think, a comprehensive picture of B2Gold today,
We have.
from their financial performance,
Yeah.
operational strength, to even, these little whispers of potential catalysts.
Mm-hmm.
It's clear that this is a company with a lot of moving parts.
It is. It's a very compelling blend, I think, of stability,
Yeah.
growth potential,
Uh-huh.
and, even a little bit of speculative excitement.
Yeah, a little bit of mystery.
Yeah, exactly. So
well.
definitely a company to keep on your radar.
Absolutely. Well, folks, there you have it.
That's B2Gold.
A deep dive into the world of B2Gold Corporation.
Ticker symbol BTG.
Ticker symbol BTG. We hope this episode has given you a better understanding of this intriguing company.
It's a fascinating one.
It is. And as always, we want to hear from you, our listeners.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on B2Gold? Ticker symbol BTG.
Do you see them as a potential investment?
What stood out to you from our conversation today?
Let us know in the comments below. We always love hearing your perspectives.
We do.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of gold mining and investment opportunities, don't forget to subscribe to Investing Talk Podcast.
Right.
And share this episode with your fellow investors.
Spread the word.
We release new episodes every week exploring a wide range of companies and market trends.
Absolutely. We're here to equip you with the knowledge and insights you need to navigate this exciting world of finance.
That's right.
And make smart investment choices until next time.
Yeah.
Happy investing, everyone.
And remember, do your own research. Diversify that portfolio.
Right.
And stay curious.
Always.
So much to think about with B2Gold.
It is, isn't it?
But let's wrap things up here. For our listeners out there, what are your thoughts on B2Gold?
BTG, that's the ticker symbol.
Yeah, BTG.
Yeah.
Do you see them as a potential investment?
I mean, we've laid out a lot of information here today.
We have.
A lot to digest.
What stood out to you?
Yeah.
From everything we've talked about today, what was the most interesting thing for you?
Let us know.
Yeah.
Down in the comments.
We love hearing your perspectives. And, if you enjoyed today's episode.
Yeah, if you found this interesting.
Make sure you subscribe to Investing Talk Podcast.
Definitely hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, and share this episode with your fellow investors.
Yeah, help us spread the word.
We release new episodes every week.
We do.
Exploring all sorts of companies and market trends.
Yeah, we're here to equip you with everything you need.
All the knowledge, the insights.
Yeah.
To help you navigate the world of finance.
And make those smart investment choices.
Make those smart choices. All right. That's it for today.
Until next time.
Happy investing, everyone.
Keep learning. Keep growing.
And remember, do your own research.
Of course.
Diversify and stay curious.
Yes, importantly.